So Sitaram to all protocols observed. It is indeed a pleasure to extend a warm welcome to everyone gathered here today. On behalf of the administration, staff, and students of SWAHA Hindu College, I wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to N4 Wellness, the driving force and leader of this Wellness Pilot Project 2025, along with our esteemed partners, TNT Connect, the Rotary Club of Sangre Grande, Crown Her TT, the Chest and Heart Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Eastern Regional Health Authority, as well as all the doctors and professionals who have joined us in collaboration and support. You may not know this, but this project was originally planned in the year 2020, when I, together with some past students then, met with Mrs. Sunita Ramnarayan Mohammed. For obvious reasons, that did not happen until today. I would like to especially thank Mrs. Sunita Ramnarayan Mohammed. Your dedication, coordination, and passion truly serves as a catalyst for this event today. So, we are truly honored to have this initiative take place here at SWAHA Hindu College. The M4 Wellness Pilot Project serves as a beacon of positive change, encouraging our students to embrace healthy lifestyles, mindfulness, and overall well-being. It is through such impactful projects that our young minds are influenced, inspired, and prepared to become the compassionate, resilient leaders of tomorrow. We sincerely thank all the organizations involved in their dedication and investment in the development of our nation's youth. Partnerships like these demonstrate the true value of community collaboration and shared vision. We look forward to continuing this meaningful relationship as we work together to promote wellness, awareness, and empowerment among our students. Once again, thank you for your presence, your commitment, and your belief in our future leaders, especially here at SWAHA Hindu College. I say thank you and Sitaram. And now, back to Mrs. Sunita Ramnarayan Mohammed.
Sitaram, good morning. It is indeed a pleasure to be here standing in front of all of you at SWAHA Hindu College today. As Ms. Kavita said, this was a project we started planning in 2020 and COVID happened. So today is definitely one for the books. To bring greetings on behalf of TNT Healthcare Connect, I would like to introduce you to our Mindfulness Youth Ambassador. Her name is Aliyah John. She's 22 years old, and she's a proud alumna of St. Augustine Girls High School who recently graduated with honors with a bachelor's in psychology and a minor in criminology. Her passion is culture, performance, and the creative expressions that help her shine with her long-standing involvement in the Shiv Shakti Dance Company, where she has been an active member for the past 17 years. Beyond her academia, Aliyah is a member of the SWAHA Gyan Deepak Kirtan Mandali, where she continues to nurture her spiritual and cultural roots. Whether she's modeling, dancing, or exploring all creative avenues, her energy and artistry reflects her deep commitment to self-expression and discipline in her community. Being a young member of the SWAHA Gyan Deepak Mandali, of course, being here at SWAHA Hindu College is an honor, not just for her, but for all of us at TNT Healthcare Connect. Let's welcome Ms. Aliyah John.
Sitaram, good morning, everyone. So it is a pleasure to welcome you all here today on behalf of TNT Healthcare Connect, which is the booth to the very front, to the right, and the M4 Wellness Institute. So seeing so many young faces ready to learn, grow, and invest in themselves is already a sign of something powerful, because you all are the next generation of change. So firstly, I would like to start off by saying your health is not just about what happens in a hospital or a doctor's office. It's about how you live, how you think, how you move, how you take care of yourself every single day. And that belief is exactly what inspired the creation of TNT Healthcare Connect. TNT Healthcare Connect is a health consultancy company right here in Trinidad and Tobago, founded by Mrs. Sunita Ramnarayan Mohammed. So she is an experienced echocardiographer and a diabetes care specialist with over 25 years in the medical field. So her vision was to connect people, especially families and younger people, the youth, with doctors, healthcare professionals, and the accurate information in a way that feels accessible and empowering. So instead of waiting for people to get sick, TNT Healthcare Connect focuses on prevention, education, and lifestyle, helping individuals to live longer, stronger, and more meaningful lives. So it is about bridging the gap between medical knowledge and everyday living. And that is where the M4 Wellness Institute and the M4 Wellness Project comes in. So M4 stands for medicine, mindfulness, movement, and motivation. So these 4 simple words hold the key to a balanced and healthy lifestyle. So medicine, as we know, represents understanding your body, how it works, and how to prevent illness before it starts. Mindfulness reminds us that our mental health and emotional well-being are just as important as our physical health. Movement encourages us to stay active, to move our bodies daily, whether it's through sport, dance, or simply walking. And motivation, this fuels it all. So it is the drive to keep us going, to take care of yourself, and to become your best self even though life gets tough. Together, these 4 pillars form the foundation of the M4 Wellness Institute, which was developed under the TNT Healthcare Connect as a community-focused initiative that brings education and wellness to life through action. So the M4 Wellness Project is not just a concept, it's a movement. It's a series of workshops, school programs just like this one, health fairs, and wellness sessions designed to empower people of all ages, especially you all, the youth, to take control of your own well-being. So through interactive activities, mentorship, open discussions, this project teaches us how to balance physical health, mental strength, and our own personal motivation. The vision of the M4 Wellness Institute is to improve health and well-being through education, so that everyone can enjoy life while also aging gracefully and healthily. And its mission is to build a community where medicine, mindfulness, movement, and motivation enrich our journey towards a long and wholesome life, whilst also embracing our challenges and learning from them. At M4 Wellness, we don't just tell you what to do, we also show you and help you how to do it. It's about making wellness real, relatable, sustainable for your generation, because the habits you build now shape the future version of you. So today, as we begin this session, I encourage you all to open your minds and be present, ask questions, share ideas, and learn something new about your body and mind and how they work together, and how you can make small choices that lead to a big difference for your health and well-being. Because at TNT Healthcare Connect, we believe that true wellness starts with knowledge, and that knowledge starts with you. So once again, welcome to the M4 Wellness Experience, where medicine meets mindfulness, movement, empowers motivation, and together we can learn to live well. Thank you all and enjoy the session.
Thank you, Aaliyah. And Aaliyah is just one of our youth ambassadors. Each one of those M's, we have other youth ambassadors. So we have one for medicine. Aaliyah is our mindfulness ambassador. We have one for movement and one for motivation. So hopefully, as time goes by, you all here at SWAHA will be able to meet them all. And they can encourage you to take better care of yourself through education. Our partner in this M4 Wellness project and a driver in getting this whole presentation done, this event, has been the Rotary Club of Sangre Grande. And the Rotary Club has the words of unite for good. for the good of everyone. They are a community-based organization, and it's an international organization. And to bring greetings on behalf of the Rotary Club and the Interact Club, the Rotaract and Interact Club, we have both Mr. Mervyn Ali, who is the president of the Sangre Grande Rotary Club, and after we'll have Miss Arlene Sinanan, who is a past president of the Rotary Club. Let's welcome Mr. Ali.
My name is Mervyn Ali, and presently I am the president of the Rotary Club of Sangre Grande. But this morning I would like to put a new twist on this gathering. Today is a good day. Today, every student that is in the auditorium, you are valuable. And how do you know what is value? Value is something that I give up so that it will better your life. So I am sure my time, other time, we have given it up. Now, permit me to say that I have known Sunita for quite a while. And if Sunita has a choice and she decides to go to heaven and she asks the Lord, Lord, give me one wish, I am almost sure that Sunita would say, Lord, from a 24-hour day, make it 30 hours, because she has so much on her plate. Yet, she has taken the time off this morning with her team to come here because you are valuable. So I hope today will be a blessed day for you guys. You have a lot of different information you can get. And also what I would really like to do is, I would like this movement to continue, and continue meaning that it must be documented. For example, I can give you a parallel example. If you have a storyteller that comes up here and reads a story to you, and she leaves, you remember the story but vividly. But if you have a storyteller that comes up and reads a story to you and offer the book that what she says is documented, that information would last a lifetime. So today, we are going to try our best to document as much as we can so that the message hopefully will reach out. So today, guys, is all about you, a lifestyle that starts from young, okay? A lifestyle that when you will give you a longer life. You do not want when you're 25 and 30, you have a pacemaker, but it starts from now. So again, today, make today count by just getting all the information that you can, because it will better your life. Thank you very much.
I am Arlene Hines Sinanan from the Rotary Club of Sangre Grande. I'm the foundation chair. I have been a past president of that awesome club for 2 consecutive years during the COVID time. Today, we are here not by guess. We have an Interact Club, resident Interact Club at this awesome organization. Let's put it up for the Interact Club. Also, one of Rotary International areas of focus has to do with disease prevention and healthcare. So we share the same vision that TNT Healthcare Connect shares. So we are really happy to be part of today's activity. Today I bring greetings from Ms. Tia Marie Barkas. She is the Youth Service Chair attached to the Rotary Club of Sangre Grande. She was instrumental in coordinating today's M4 initiative, M4 Wellness Initiative, and she had to attend an emergency meeting this morning. So I am simply bringing greetings from her. She sends her apologies and her thoughts, which I will share with you. Tia says it's a pleasure to be with all of you, the students, the teachers, and our partners from TT Healthcare Connect, as we recognize World Diabetes Day. Now, before we get into the serious talk on the health issues, I have a quick question for you. How many of you love sweet drink? Let me see those hands. If you have your money and you have to choose between water and sweet drink, What will the choice be? All right, I'm hearing some water, but I'm hearing a lot more of the soft drink. All right? We tend to do a lot of Coke, sweet drink, the Solo, the Chubby, and all of that. All right? Sometimes we may skip breakfast, and we will settle for a donut. You want to get a little sugar rush, as we say in Trinidad. But here's the thing. Diabetes isn't just something that happens to old people. Some of us feel that we're young and we are untouchable. All right? We are anti-disease. Nothing is going to get us. So diabetes is not something that happens to old people, and I know the other presenters will share a lot more about that. It can affect anyone, regardless of your age and your background. And the choices we make, the food we eat, how much water we drink, how active we are, all of these things help protect our health in the long run. And that is why today's message is so important. It is not about fear, it is about awareness and empowerment. You have the power to take control of your health. It's not mommy and daddy. They spend the money to take you to the doctor. But you have the power to take control of your health right here, right now. And the good news is you don't have to make big, impossible changes. Just start with small steps. Swap one soft drink for water. Get moving. Dance. I know young people like to dance, all kinds of crazy dances. Play a sport. Anything that gets your heart pumping. Stay away from the devices that you're sitting on your own all day long, yeah? Good. There's no activity involved in that except for your thumbs. And most important, share what you learned today with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. Because the more we talk about diabetes prevention, the more we help each other to make our lives stronger and healthier. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Sangre Grande, and in particular our Youth Services Chair, Ms. Tia Bacchus, I want to thank the SWAHA College, our resident interactors, and TNT Healthcare Connect for allowing us to be part of this awesome initiative. Rotary's watchwords are service above self. And part of that service is helping to build healthier, more informed communities, starting with you, our young people. So as we celebrate World Diabetes Day, let's remember this. We all have the power to make better choices to protect our health, to live well, and to inspire others to do the same. Thank you, and always remember, your health is your greatest wealth. I thank you.
It's starting in SWAHA, but it has to go to every school in Trinidad and Tobago. That's Rotary's vision for this event. So, SWAHA Hindu College, give yourselves a round of applause because you all are the first. As teenagers, we all know that games and devices become your best friends. And mommy and daddy, oh my goodness, they start to bother us with everything they would like us to do. And you don't need to see the doctor because everything is fine. Diabetes does not have an age. And wellness starts from very early in life. It's the choices we make. So to present the ABCs of diabetes, I would like to invite both Dr. Geeta Budhan Singh and Dr. Dhruva Sukraj, from Artemis Medical Clinic.
Good morning, Sitaram all. I am Dr. Geeta Budhan Singh, and I would like to express my gratitude for M4 Wellness and for the administration of SWAHA, and to you, dear students, for allowing us the privilege of presenting today. All right, before I present, I would like to play a game, and I would like to have 3 volunteers to play this game. Okay, come. Instead, this is Have I Ever? So how it works, I'm going to ask some questions, and if you have done any of these things in the past week, you hold up a finger. The person who has the most fingers up at the end will get a prize. Okay? You ready? All right. So, have I ever eaten 3 servings of fruits or vegetables in one day for this past week? All right. Good. Have I ever eaten dinner without my phone or the TV on? What? Have I ever chosen water instead of soft drink or sweet drink? Have I ever done a workout just for fun? Have I ever gone a whole day without junk food?
Okay, let's thank the participants.
The healthy habits that you build now will impact your health later on. A lot of times, persons diagnosed with diabetes, 30s, 40s, and beyond, now trying to develop healthy habits, it's very difficult. So this, what you do today, will be important for tomorrow. The learning points that I would want you all to take away: A, I want you to be aware about diabetes. B, be knowledgeable about risk factors. And C, be conscious of lifestyle choices. Right. So what is diabetes? Diabetes is essentially a condition in which the blood sugar is abnormally high. It is a disorder of carbohydrate metabolism driven by either insulin deficiency or insulin resistance or a combination of both. There are different types of diabetes, but the ones that most people are familiar with are usually type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. So, we use words like carbohydrate. Many of the science students would probably already know that carbohydrate is essentially sugar. There are different types of sugar. Simple sugar is what most people would recognize easily as sugar. It's the thing that table sugar tastes sweet on the tongue. For the science students, you will know that these are usually 1 to 2 molecules, monosaccharides or disaccharides, and that's why they are simple. There's complex sugars as well. Complex sugars are not complex because they contemplate the meaning of life. They're complex because they are made up of a large number of molecules. And these are not often recognized as sugar. So these are things like pasta, bread, oatmeal, ground provisions, right? Not obviously sugar, but it is. What I want you to take away from this: sugar is fuel for the body, but not all sugar is created equal. Some sugars are better than others. Right. So, what happens when you eat a meal? So whether you eat a nice bowl of oatmeal or a not so healthy looking burger and fries or a teaspoon of sugar, it goes into the stomach and it has to be broken down into its individual components and to glucose, which is what the cells use for energy. The glucose from the stomach enters into the bloodstream, and the pancreas, which is an organ that sits behind the stomach, produces something called insulin, a hormone, in response to that. Think of insulin like a bus. The bus picks up the sugar from the bloodstream and takes it inside the cell where it could be used for energy. Now, in diabetes, you can have problems with this process. Either the bus doesn't leave the station, and that's what we call insulin deficiency, and that's what we commonly see in type 1 diabetes, or the bus leaves the station, but it can't get inside the cell, and that's what we call insulin resistant. Type 2 diabetes is marked by insulin resistance, but it can progress to insulin deficiency. Now, so some of the symptoms of diabetes would be you feel very tired because you're not getting energy, you'd be more hungry, more thirsty, might go to the washroom to pass urine more frequently, or some people may have no symptoms. The problem with diabetes is that if it is left uncontrolled, it can lead to heart disease, eye disease, kidney disease, nerve disease, even death. So, if we had a crystal ball, if you all had a crystal ball and could look into the future and knew you were at risk for something and you could change it, would you? Show of hands. Right, good. So, the thing is with diabetes, unfortunately, type 1 diabetes, there's no way to prevent it. But type 2 diabetes is the one that we could prevent. When it comes to things that put you at risk or increase the likelihood of developing diabetes later on, you have the things that you can change and the things that you can't. So the things that you can't change is your family history. If your parents are diabetic, that could increase your chances of becoming diabetic, right? If you belong to a high-risk ethnic group like East Indian, that also increases your chance of becoming diabetic. Doesn't mean it will, but you know, it can, and those are the things that you can't change. What you can change is things like if you're overweight or obese, that could be changed. If you have an unhealthy diet, that could be changed. If you have an unhealthy lifestyle, that could be changed. Right. So when it comes to healthy lifestyle, you have 4 pillars: nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress. Now, nutrition is a large topic. We won't have time to touch on everything, but just some of the basics. Sugar is energy, as we said before. Energy, the amount of energy you take in has to be burned. It has to go out. Otherwise, that energy is going to be converted to fat, and that's very unhealthy. The other thing is not just the quantity, but the quality. As we said before, certain sugars are better than others. So complex carbohydrates tend to be better than simple sugars. So the amount of energy you need will vary depending on your age, sex, how active you are. But if on average you need 1,600 calories, that's how we measure energy a day, look at the meal. On one side, 1,600 calories for the whole day is 1 burger and fries and a milkshake. You eat that, you get a rapid rise in your blood sugar, which is really not good for the pancreas. It stresses it out. And then when that sugar leaves the system, 2 hours later, you're hungry. If you eat again, you're going to be exceeding your energy requirements. Versus, on the other side, you choose healthy options, healthy carbohydrates, proteins, and vegetables. Balance, you can eat more than one meal, you feel full longer, and you have a lot of vitamins and minerals that's good for you. Which would you choose? Show of hands. This side? Who would choose this side? And who would choose the other side? Very good. All right. So I know you're probably thinking that, all right, this doctor talking about the future, but what about now? What about the benefits of healthy lifestyle now for me? And for that, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Dr. Sukraj.
you, Dr. Budansing. Thank you, M4 Wellness and Sunita for organizing this presentation. So I'd like to take some time to appreciate this picture. I know the lighting is not the best, but if you look at it, you can see the sun, you can see cloud, you can see a bird, you can also see yellow and orange. So, what if there was something that could help you go beyond? I don't know how many of you have seen the film Limitless. It's an interesting film. The protagonist has access to a pill which allows him to activate his brain as much as possible, such that he gains power and he's able to climb the social standing. What if you could also do that? What if you can take this pill? Can you guess what this pill is? Well, here it is. So, exercise. No one wants to talk about exercise, yeah? But I promise you, when you hear what I have to say, you might consider doing it. You guys have seen Naruto, you've seen Solo Leveling, you've seen Superman, you have other characters which you follow. Do you also want to unlock your superpowers? Right. So, if you just quiet down a little bit, I'll explain to you how exercise works. So, exercise is the magic pill that we all ignore and we treat it as routine. However, growing up as I did in my youth days, all we did was play. And my brain was functioning at a very high level, and I didn't know it was because of exercise. In any event, exercise helps the brain, which is your supercomputer, the most complex structure known to the human being, to produce good chemicals. And these good chemicals increase your mood and affect your brain function. It also affects something called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is your ability of your brain to change. Long ago, people used to think that this was just reserved for children and teenagers. However, now we know even adults and to old age, you can still be neuroplastic. And one of the keys to this is exercise. You can actually use this. So exercise does something by producing a chemical called brain-derived natriuretic factor. Now, this chemical causes the cells in the brain to replicate, and especially in the areas responsible for memory and decision-making. These are the big ones which you need to focus on right now. If you can unlock your superpower, would you? Touching on the other bits, stress. So stress is a normal part of life. We all undergo stress. Most people suffer anxiety. This is a normal thing. However, it's not treated as normal by most people. What you need to do in order to deal with stress. This is very important. Most of you are already doing this. Hobbies like cricket, football, basketball, dancing, painting, art, even doing photography like myself. I see there's a photography club here, and I want to encourage that. Doing things like forest bathing or even regular just going to the beach is very important. Going into nature is very helpful. Mindfulness practice and meditation. So mindfulness is basically you bringing yourself back to the present, which literally means stop thinking about the future and the past. So if you just focus on the present, that's mindfulness. Avoiding negative thinking, so just being positive helps. There is something in Japanese culture called wabi-sabi. This is appreciation for imperfection. You guys can look further into it if you wish, but appreciating imperfection actually leads to a better mindset. And definitely avoiding drugs which give you a high and a long crash after, like caffeine, alcohol, and tobacco. And to finish off, I'd just like to talk a little bit about sleep. Sleep is something when you're young, you don't really pay much attention to, right? Everybody is up in the night, scrolling or watching TV or talking to their friends or something. However, sleep is the other key to using your supercomputer. Sleep leads to long-term storage, memory storage in your brain. So if you do not have enough sleep, you are not storing memories, therefore you will not necessarily perform well in your exams. If you wish to access that ability, then you need to look at your sleep. So, and going along with that, I'd like to finish off by talking about sleep hygiene. Something which, again, not normally spoken about. So sleep hygiene involves getting off your devices 2 hours before you go to sleep. I know that sounds a little bit difficult, but that's something that you need to look at. It also includes doing things like adjusting your sleep environment, so making the room entirely dark, lowering the temperature of your room to a temperature that is cool enough for you, and of course, practicing things like meditation and mindfulness before sleep helps you with sleep. So thank you for listening, and we invite any questions should you have.
But I'll be seeing you all shortly. First on the list is Mrs. Singh.
Thank you, Doctor. I've been feeling a bit breathless today. Even walking from the car was a struggle.
We will check your heart and lungs again. But tell me, your sugar levels, have you been managing diabetes well?
I try, but it's hard. You see, my daughter cooks with so much oil, but I do love my roti.
Are you compliant with your medication? Any chest pain? Right this way, follow me.
Roti and curry, hard to resist, you know, but I was always blame it on food. Me? I have high cholesterol, but you don't see me complaining.
You're lucky. I just found out that my sugar high. I'm pregnant and they're talking about insulin and all of that. To be honest, I'm real scared.
Doctors, yeah, they subscribe everything, but just can't take it on. Me, I stopped taking my prescriptions 9 months ago, and I gain along just fine.
I just found out I might get diabetes, and I'm only 15. I don't even know what glucose is. How did this happen? Modi. Yeah, they say I have Modi. Who is Modi? Isn't he the Prime Minister who visited from India?
It's not your fault. They don't teach us none of this. I mean, I didn't even know pregnancy could cause all of this.
I had no idea either. My 4-year-old son could get glucose. I had no idea either. My 4-year-old son could get diabetes. He has to stick himself multiple times every day. It's 6 years now. And it's 6 years now since he's been diagnosed, and he's comfortable sticking himself with insulin now. I had the monitoring and the testing, the continuous glucose monitor on
They don't teach us because they don't expect us to understand. But you have to do your part and start doing your research and so on. What I just do, I'll go on ChatGPT and Google. I mean, it gives me all the information I need, and it helps give me the information about the symptoms of medications.
All right, Mr. Thomas, you're next. Let's talk about that blood pressure.
Okay, doctor, but no long lectures today.
Madness. You okay?
I guess I'm just feeling a little different now. Like something's wrong with me.
Listen, nothing's wrong with you. You just trying to help yourself, and that is strength. If little Jaden could sit down there unbothered, then what we stressing for? If he could give himself insulin, then I could give myself insulin. As a matter of fact, he inspired me to do it for my baby. You'll be all right.
Doctor says I need more tests, but he listens. That's fine.
Miss Jasmine, you're up. Tyrell, you'll be last, but I'll be sure to take my time with you, all right?
You'll be all right, okay?
Miss Jasmine, if you'd just follow me this way, please. Thank you.
You remind me of my grandson. He didn't want to talk either, but talking helps.
Thanks. Thanks, maybe I'll try.
That was excellent. Very, very, very good job. I would like to specially thank Miss Frederick, who is the drama teacher and pregnant, and TNT Healthcare Connect. We do have our own midwife as part of our team. So Ms. Mohini Singolan will be presenting her with a little token of our appreciation for this, that diabetes starts in pregnancy, disappears after, and that honeymoon period mean that you have to test after delivery and keep checking because it does come back. I would like to call on our youth ambassador, Aliyah John, to present all the future actors and actresses with a token of our appreciation on behalf of TNT Healthcare Connect. And that little type 1 who was 10 years old and sticking himself with insulin since he was 4. Now, they have continuous glucose monitors that you have stuck on the back of your arms, as well as in the more developed countries, they have insulin pumps where you get hooked up and it just gives you the right dose at that time. And no, Modi is not the Prime Minister of India. It stands for Maturity Onset Diabetes of the Young. So that insulin resistance Dr. Budan Singh was speaking about, it's a combination of genetics and insulin resistance, and it starts in the teenage years. So we need to know what our history is, family history. Thank you again. And we have Dr. Nadira Rambukas. And she will speak to you all about period poverty and PCOS.
So I am Dr. Nadira Rambokas. I am the president and founder of Crown Her TT, and we are committed to ending period poverty. So I am going to talk to you a little bit about periods and about hygiene, and this is important for both boys and girls because men need to be educated. It helps break the stigma and taboos about periods. This is going to be totally interactive, so if you have any questions or you want to answer any of the questions I ask, you'll raise your hand, okay? So who here knows what puberty is? You? Yes, you put up your hand first. Can you stand and tell us what puberty is? Right. So puberty, at a certain age, you start getting hormone changes. You can sit. Give him a little clap, right? So in young men, when you go into puberty, you start recognizing voice changes. You start seeing that you get hair under your arms and in the groin area. Yes. And in girls, they start getting oilier skin, they start getting breast development, and then they start getting their periods. Okay? So with respect to girls, I like to tell them about normal hygiene with respect to the genital region. Yes, everybody needs to be educated because you know how to have normal practices. Okay? So for women, general, we tell you to wear light cotton underwear and you change it at least twice for the day. And in which direction are you supposed to wipe? Is it front to back or back to front? Who thinks it's back to front? Can you put up your hand? And who thinks it's front to back? And who doesn't know? Okay. So actually, you are supposed to wipe from front to back. You don't want this, hello? You don't want this stuff from the front to be interfered by stuff from the back. So you have to wipe from front to back, okay? So who knows what you're supposed to wash the genital region, that is the area with hair, what are you supposed to wash with? Baby soap, bacterial soap, scented soaps, what are you supposed to wash with? Anybody has any idea? Can you put up your hand? Everybody's scared. So, yes, blue soap, detrimental later. No, you're supposed to wash the genital region with unscented baby soap. Okay? And are you supposed to wear panty shields or panty liners every day? No. So, ladies especially, remember that you're supposed to wear light cotton underwear and at least change it twice a day. You wipe from front to back. You wash the genital region with unscented baby soap and try not to wear any panty shoes every day except for blood flow or for heavy discharge. Now, when you go into your period or just before your period, we start to get a discharge. And it tends to be white, light yellow, clear. Now the reason I'm telling you why these things happen and how to care for the region, because if you have an infection, for instance, it starts being a different color, it starts itching, burning, or you have a different odor, you need to see a healthcare professional. Okay? So, when you also go into puberty, you have to know exactly why you have your period. So anybody knows what this is? Yes? The ovaries. And what does the ovaries do? It what? Anybody else? Thanks. Anybody else has any answer? Yes? Yes, blue soap. No? So the ovaries stores eggs. It does not produce eggs. You are born with a fixed number of eggs. Okay? What happens is when you go into puberty, the eggs mature. And what is this called? A fallopian tube. Right. And what is this called? The uterus or the womb, right? And what is this called? Your cervix or the neck of the womb. And then this is the vaginal canal. Okay? So what happens is that under hormonal changes, the eggs mature, move into the fallopian tube, enters into the uterus or the womb, and if that egg is not fertilized, then this nice little bed that the uterus builds, it sheds, and that's how you get your period. Okay? So, anybody can tell me what is the average age of onset of your period? Yes. How much? 7? 19? Yes? 12? Blue soap, you have any answer? So, the average age in Trinidad and Tobago is 11. But some kids can get their periods as early as age 8 or as late as age 15. So if you get your period before age 8 or you get your period and it doesn't happen after age 15, you need to see a healthcare provider. And how long is the average period? Yes. 2 weeks in terms of days. 8 days? 7? Blue soap, you could stand up. 12 days? Yes. 7? Okay. 5. So the average period is approximately 5 to 7 days, right? But it can be as short as 3 or as long as 10. Okay? Now, when girls first get their periods in the first 2 to 3 years, what happens is that their periods tend to be shorter or longer. It tends to be a little irregular. But if when your period starts after the initial 2 to 3 years and your period is still short or too long or too heavy, you need to see a healthcare provider, okay? And how often are you supposed to get your period? In terms of days, I don't want everybody speaking at the same time. You can put up your hand. Every 28 days. Anybody has any other answer? Yes? Every 30 days? 6 to 7 days? No, it can't be every 6 to 7 days. So your period is supposed to be every 21 to 28 days. But as I said, in the first 2 to 3 years, when you get your period, it can be a little shorter, it could be longer. So it could be 21 to 35 days when you first get your period. And who knows, in terms of mils or amount, how much blood loss a woman has during her period? How much? 3 gallons? Jesus. Anybody has any idea? How much is a gallon in terms of mils? 1,000? 1,000 mils? A gallon is a liter? So you think that women lose 3 liters of blood every month? So the total amount of blood volume in any individual is 5 liters. So you think we lose more than half of our blood volume? So how much blood loss do you think that a woman has during her period? Guess. Anybody? Yes. How much? A liter. A liter is 1,000 mils. So you think a woman loses 1/5 of her blood volume during her period? Yes. Sorry, I can't hear. Half a liter, 500 mils. Yes. 5 mils. It's between 40 to 60 mils, which is about 2 to 3 tablespoons. The reason I'm telling you all of this, because if your period doesn't come when it's supposed to, if your period is persistently short or long, if your period is persistently irregular, or if you have heavy bleeding or any other symptoms associated with your period, like dizziness, fainting, headaches, vomiting, you need to see a healthcare professional, okay? So when you go into puberty and you start having your period, you have to know how to use these menstrual products. One of the first things you're supposed to do is, before you change or after you change any menstrual product, what is the first thing you're supposed to do? Wash your hands, right? So there are 2 types of menstrual products. There are reusable and there are disposable menstrual products, okay? The reusable products can be reused. The disposable ones you have to throw away. But before you change any menstrual product, you have to wash your hands, okay? And how often you change these will depend on your flow, okay? So this is called a period underwear. It comes in different sizes, different shapes, absorbencies, okay? Before you change any of these, you're supposed to wash your hands, and these are supposed to be changed according to your flow, or every 8 to 12 hours, okay? These, as well as reusable pads, they come with fasteners, so you can attach it to your underwear. And these, as I said, they come in different size, shapes, absorbencies, and you change them according to your flow, or every 8 to 12 hours. And when you're changing these products, make sure and wash your hands after, okay? Who knows what this is? disposable pad. So these come with or without wings. What are you supposed to do before you change any menstrual product? Right. And how often do you think that you're supposed to change these? It depends on your flow. But they come in different sizes and absorbencies. But generally, how often do you think you're supposed to change these? Every 12 hours? Yes? What's that? Every 12 hours? Yes? Every 6 to 8 hours? Yes, actually, that's right. So you want to come and show how you put on a sanitary pad? Yes. You don't know how? Blue soap, come. Yes. Come. Come, blue soap, come. I'll help you, come. No. Any female wants to show how you use a pad with wings? Come. What happened to blue soap? You get in trouble? I hope I get in trouble. I think so. Uh-oh. Did he get in trouble? Did I get in trouble? No, him. Who's that? Right. You want to show how you use the pad?
Oh, she gonna have to say it?
So I will just talk. So you wash your hands before, remove the packaging for the adhesive, apply it onto the underwear. These come with wings. You'll give me. I'll take this. And then you attach the wings to the bottom of the underwear. And then what you're supposed to do after? Wash your hands. Wash your hands. So after you've finished changing these, then you wash your hands. So these have wings. Now you can either attach the wings to the underside of the pads. You can use the backing of it to attach it to the underside of the pads. There's different ways that you can use a sanitary pad with wings. So it's like this, right? So you can use the backing to attach it, or you can use both wings and stick them together. Okay? Now, are you supposed to flush these? So when you're removing these pads, you're going to fold it, and either you use the wrapping that it comes in, or you use toilet paper or newspaper, you do not flush these. You throw them in sanitary bins or in a normal trash bin, and then you wash your hands. Good. Who knows what this is? Who knows how you use a tampon? You want to come and show?
Y'all get a prize.
So you're going to get a prize if you come and display how you use a tampon. So tampons are to be inserted before you change any menstrual product. What are you supposed to do? And how often do you think you're supposed to change these? According to your flow, right? What does L and R mean? L and R. Somebody put up your hand. Do you know what L and R means? Yes? No, it's not left and right. It means light and regular. It depends on the absorbency. So L and R means light, regular, and then there's super. So ideally, you have to position yourself lying or squatting, wash your hands, and then she's going to show how you insert the tampon. So tampons can come with or without an applicator. So you have to insert like a centimeter with your dominant hand. And you push on the applicator. You push, you push the plunger underneath. Right. And then pull it out. Good. Great.
Thank you.
So this is a plastic applicator. You'll have to throw away the applicator. You do not flush these. And these come with a string for easy removal when you have to change your tampon. Are you supposed to flush these after using them? What are you supposed to do before you change a sanitary pad or a tampon? And what do you do after?
Wash your hand again.
Great.
And this is also.
Right? So these are not supposed to be flushed. You are going to throw them in the sanitary bins. You can wrap these up as well with the paper that it comes in or in toilet paper, and then you dispose of it. Anyone knows what this is? A menstrual cup. So these can be used longer than the tampons because they are not made out of cotton, and the insertion is similar to that of the tampon. Before you change any product, what are you supposed to do first? And what are you supposed to do after you change these? Wash your hands. How often do you think you're supposed to change this? It's similar to how often you change reusable products. Every 8 to 12 hours, yes. Yes. So, anybody knows every girl here has to have something called a menstrual hygiene kit. A change of underwear. You're supposed to have a Ziploc bag in case you want to put in soiled underwear or reusable products. What else you think you're supposed to have in here? You can have wipes. You can have hand sanitizer or soap. You can have medication in case you have pain. So who wants to stand up and tell me how often you change each of these products? Reusable products. Every 8 to 12 hours. How often you change disposable pads? 6 to 8 hours. How often you change a tampon? 4 to 6 hours. And how often you change a menstrual cup? 8 to 12 hours, right? So anybody has any questions about any of these things? Anybody knows what period poverty is? Yes? Yes. So period poverty is women who cannot afford or access menstrual products, okay? Anybody has any idea what percentage of women in Trinidad and Tobago cannot afford or access menstrual products? 20%? Was that? Sorry, I didn't hear. 70? 60? Actually, that's right. It's between 52 to 60%. So do you think women should get free menstrual products? No? Who said no? Okay. Thanks for answering. So anybody has any questions? So I hope you learned something today about different menstrual products and period poverty. So you can follow us on the Ministry of Education website. We did some videos on all of these things. It's on the Ministry website, YouTube and Facebook.
We would like to invite Mr. Isaac John. He is the Health Education Assistant at the Eastern Regional Health Authority.
And I'm a health education aide of the Eastern Regional Health Authority. We're going to talk about the dangers of smoking and vaping, and I always like to do one activity when I am speaking, right? So when I say one clap, I want you all to give me one clap demonstration. Right? So let's try that. One clap. Excellent. You're cooking with gas. All right, nice. So we want to start with what you know about tobacco. Is it an animal? Is it a plant? Is it a seed? It is a plant. So it is a leafy plant, and it is grown worldwide. It's a billion-dollar industry, and they farm it. They have been farming it for hundreds of years, right? And it is farmed primarily for nicotine, which is a very addictive drug. So we're going to go into true and false. Tobacco kills more than 8 million persons a year. True or false? It is true. So tobacco kills over 8 million persons a year. Just today, over 14,000 persons will die because they consume tobacco in some form, right? Cigarette smoking is the most common form of tobacco use. True or false? It is true. Cigarettes are still the most common use, but we have things like hookahs and vapes that are more popular among the younger ones, right? But cigarettes are still the most popular. There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco in a cigarette. The answer is true. There are over 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette, and at least 70 of them will cause cancer. So what can you see from the screen there? You've seen a rat, right? So there's chemicals in rat poison. There's chemicals in the camphor ball. chemicals that you put in insecticide and toilet bowl cleaner. Who here likes, on an evening when you go home, you like to sprinkle a little rat poison over your food just to give it a little flavor? Nobody? We know it will cause harm to you, right? But every time someone puts a cigarette to their mouth, that's what they are consuming, right? Smoking is not the most common cause of lung, throat, and mouth cancer. The answer is false. When persons talk about smoking and cancer, the go-to cancer they will refer to is lung cancer. But not just lung cancer. When you smoke, within 20 seconds, the chemicals, they travel through your bloodstream, and it affects all organs of the body. So you're seeing coughing, you're seeing heart disease, there's stroke, there's cervical cancer, there's infertility. We were doing a presentation for the dentist the other day, and you would be amazed to see how the smoking pulls the gum away from the teeth, and it causes a lot of cavities, rotten teeth, a lot of growth on the lips and the tongue, right? So it's very scary. One clap. All right. So which lung is the healthy lung and which lung is the unhealthy lung? That's correct. So the healthy lung would be the one that is pinkish in color, the lung of the non-smoker, and the unhealthy lung would be the hard, it will look scarred, it will look blackened, dry, right? So the tobacco industry, they have done a good job of killing over 8 million persons every year. So grandparents and parents and great-grandparents, they have them already hooked. But these persons, they are dying, they are passing away fast. So they had to come up with a business plan to get a new population. So who do you think would they target next? Correct, is the youths, right? So growing up, we would consume snacks, and you'll have different flavors like strawberry, you'll have watermelon, blueberry, right? And what they're doing now is they're putting these same flavors into something that we call vapes. You all know what vapes are? We are familiar with vapes to some extent, right? So they come in different shapes and sizes, different colors. You see some looking like a pipe, some look like cigars, some look like candy, like chewing gum, right? And what are some of the flavors that you will find in these vapes? Blueberry, watermelon, strawberry, right? Peach, wow. So there are a lot of fancy flavors, and they design these things to target us, the younger folks, right? So for those of you who do not know how a vape works, it's an electronic device, and they would fill it with an oil, and this oil, it becomes heated by the battery, and it turns into a vapor, and the person inhales and they exhale. So who here believes that vaping is safe? We'll come to that. So when someone is vaping, to answer your question, vaping is just as bad and sometimes even worse than cigarettes. But because vapes are fairly new, the cigarettes, people have been consuming that for years, and vapes is a new thing, there wouldn't be as much research in the vapes as the cigarettes, right? But whatever research we have, we are discovering that it's very dangerous. Number one, the vapes sometimes contain more nicotine than the cigarettes. So nicotine will cause things like heart attack and stroke, right? Number two, they will have something called heavy metals. And this will cause permanent scarring of the lungs. And you know that thing that makes it smell sweet and taste sweet? We call that diacetyl. And that diacetyl is linked to cancer, right? So when someone vapes, there is literally cancer on a stick. Yeah? So anyone here ever heard of popcorn lung? So basically popcorn lung is permanent scarring, and you will see the bronchiole there, which is an air passage. It's a tiny air passage, and what happens over time, it becomes scarred and becomes inflamed, and it turns from a nice wide circle into a very tiny gap. And that causes a lot of problems. And one of the problems it causes is popcorn lungs, and also your lungs could collapse. So could you imagine, I want everyone to breathe out and hold your breath for 10 seconds. Breathe out all the air. You could breathe out anymore. And imagine having that there for about 30 minutes, right? So that's an idea of what collapsed lungs may feel like. It could be more painful, right? So someone who has popcorn lungs or someone who is vaping, they experience things that we take for granted. Things like climbing the stairs. Anyone here could climb, run upstairs, up and down without losing their breath? Right, so that's something that you lose. Who here likes to hike? Who here likes to swim? Nice. Some of us may want to go to the gym. So these recreational activities like running 5Ks, like going on hikes, it becomes very difficult for someone who is vaping and someone who is smoking. Yeah? You'll notice that there's a picture of an airplane with a red mark over it. So sometimes when someone is vaping and their lungs collapse or they have popcorn lungs, they need to consult a doctor before they fly away, because sometimes they may be going in areas where the air is very thin. So you may have to work with an oxygen tank, etc. So for those of you who want to fly and travel, you need to think twice when it comes to vaping. Yeah? E-cigarettes, true or false, e-cigarettes and smokeless tobacco are better than cigarettes as it does not cause diseases. You all are bright. It's false. As I said before, vapes, e-cigarettes, smokeless tobacco, they are just as bad and sometimes even worse. Because we stay in our rooms and we vape for hours. Yeah? So I want you to turn your attention to this story. This is a news story from America. And this girl, her name is Sarah. She started vaping at about the age of 10, 11, somewhere there. And her parents didn't know anything because she would hide it in the toys. It would look like candies, etc. And one day, she got really ill. And she was rushed to the hospital, and they had to put her in a coma. And so she remained hospitalized for quite some time. And coming out of that, her mom said, the doctors told her that her lungs was now transformed into the lungs of an old lady. So she went from a 12-year-old to an old lady, to a pensioner, in a matter of months. So she skipped being a teenager, she skipped being a young adult, she skipped being an adult, and she went straight from child, from saying mommy to being a tanty. Right? Who here likes playing sports? Running? All right, nice. So this guy, his name is Daniel Ament, and he's very popular. He was the first person to have a double lung transplant. A double lung transplant. So he was an athlete, he was a professional runner and swimmer and sailor. You see a picture of him running. And one day he got injured and he became very depressed. So he took up vaping. He said all his friends were vaping, so it was not a problem for him. And in the matter of about a couple months, 2-3 months, he became very ill. He went into a coma, and months later, he was the first person to undergo a double lung transplant. Now, you notice that he's very athletic, chest nice, muscles. And when he takes off his jersey now, he is twisted and you would see holes in his chest where he did the double lung transplant. A lung transplant can't be done in Trinidad and Tobago, according to my knowledge, as far as I know. And the average lung transplant will cost somewhere around $1 million US. Anyone here has access to $1 million US? You all are my new friends. Right, so I have some millionaire friends here now, miss. Okay, so he spent the rest of his life, he's still living now, trying to convince young people that this vaping thing, it may seem harmless. And just because we don't have as much data as the cigarettes, it doesn't change the fact that it is very dangerous. And some of us are liming with persons and trying to impress people who are sometimes better off. You'll notice that the doctors, they mention something about family history. So you may have a family history of cancer, or someone in your family may have suffered a heart attack, and you are vaping with someone who has better genes than you. Who do you think would be hospitalized first? The person who is ill, who has a family history of these things. And it is easy for us to say that nothing bad could happen to us because we are around people who are healthy, who appear to be healthy. When we go out the road, we see healthy people. But when you are in the hospital, whether you're visiting or you're working like us, you see a lot of sick people. And we see a lot of very young sick people. The other day I was talking to a 20-year-old, somewhere between 20 to 25, and he got his first heart attack. And he joined our smoking cessation clinic to quit smoking because he got the heart attack. When I was growing up, usually heart attack and stroke, when I hear that, I'm thinking of an older person. But there are people in their teens, early 20s, early 30s who are getting heart attacks, because they are doing these dangerous activities like smoking and vaping. Yeah? One clap. So, breathing secondhand smoke can affect your health. True or false? Correct. It is true. Breathing secondhand smoke, whether it be breathing secondhand smoke is just as bad because what you're doing. First of all, anyone here knows what first-hand smoke is? Right. So first-hand smoke is the person who is consuming the cigarette. Yes, I am the first-hand smoker. Right. Second-hand smoke is those around me. When I breathe out, they breathe it in, that second-hand smoke. Or what is burning on the end of the cigarette, the unfiltered end, they are breathing that in, and that is also second-hand smoke. So it is just as bad and sometimes even worse. Question, true or false? Breathing second-hand aerosol from vapes is safe. True or false? It is false. Whether it is a cigarette, a cigar, tobacco in a pipe, or vapes, breathing in those second-hand smoke or vapes, they are bad for your health. Right? What is third-hand smoke? I don't want anyone to tell me, sir, it is when you're smoking with your third hand. I asked that in a school before, and I kid you not, a student came up and said, sir, it is when you're smoking with your third hand. Ooh, we have a bright one here. Nice. So I got the answer twice, the correct answer. So it is when the smoke, it sticks to surfaces like your clothes, like the furniture, like the vehicles. So you could smell a smoker. You could smell their vehicle. You could smell their home. Right? And what happens, what makes it even worse is that when they are young children, they will touch those surfaces and then they put their hands in their mouth. Right? Or there may be, let's just say a father, a young father, and he has a baby, and he goes outside to smoke, and that third-hand smoke lands on the clothing, it sticks there, and he comes back and he holds the baby to his chest. That baby is now in danger of third-hand smoking, right? So, this is where I learned from you all. Why do people start vaping? Because why? Because it's fancy? Oh, because your friend's doing it. That's okay, yeah. To impress people? To impress, as you're saying? Or because they're depressed, so to ease the stress. Okay. What you said? What? All right, so we start vaping and smoking for different reasons. Sometimes we look at an adult, some long time, they would pick up the cigarette butt and try it. So sometimes you're curious, sometimes your friend's doing it, sometimes you're trying to impress people, yeah? Sometimes you want to look cool. So, and someone said to relieve stress. Do you all think that smoking and vaping really relieves stress? So what actually relieves your stress is called deep breathing. So before I go, I want us to practice this. We're going to breathe in for a count of 4. We're going to hold our breath for a count of 4. We're going to breathe out for a count of 4. And we're going to keep our lungs empty for a count of 4. We could do that? All right. Breathe in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the lung empty. 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is actually a relaxation technique. And if you do it quite a number of times, you realize it relieves your stress. So it's not really the nicotine, it's the breathing, right? So if I were a vapor and I would like to quit, what do I do? What some advice would you give me? What are some... Okay. Pelt it away, I love that. So there are some suggestions, right? So usually when you get the urge, the craving to consume something that you're addicted to, it usually lasts about 3 to 5 minutes, more or less. So you do something to fill that time. It could be drinking water. It could be getting a hobby. It could be doing some jumping jacks. You could sing, you could whistle. Usually people who try to quit smoking, they will eat something sour, right? So all these things, they will help. And if you need extra help, then you come to us at the hospital or the clinic. We have clinics set up, and during your lunch period, if you visit our booth, we will show you the long ways breathing, the good lung and the bad lung. We'll give you information on the clinics, etc. Right? So just to recap, how many persons die from cigarettes each year or smoking? Over 8 million. Nice. Is vaping good or bad? It's bad. Nice. One clap. Lovely. All right, thank you all.
2 quick questions for the last 2 prizes, and we're going to take these answers from the students down at the back. So we need to know 3 effects from vaping and smoking. I need a volunteer from down at the back. Yeah. Summer.
Effects of vaping is strokes, heart attack, and popcorn lungs.
And let's see who was paying attention to the first presentation. Are we going with down at the back at the other side? Tell me, what do you do when you need to relax? Volunteers from down at the back? Come. The one in the black jacket. Let me hear, what did Dr. Sukraj say? When you need to de-stress, what do you do?
When you need to de-stress, you're supposed to be doing breathing exercise.
Just breathe in and breathe out?
Yeah.
Good attempt. Good attempt. That's one. Good breathing exercises. Thanks. And we would like to invite the vote of thanks by the head girl, Miss Elena Jagannath, and Mr. Vashish Prasad Maharaj is the head boy. Because we've gone into your lunch, they'll say the prayer as well.
Thank you, Miss. Before we end this morning's proceedings, we must give thanks to where it is due. Firstly, to Ms. Srimati Nalini Prasad, who challenged and inspired us to provide healthcare education with a difference. The Rotary Club of Sangre Grande, Rotaract and Interact Arms, as well as Mr. Mervyn Ali as president, ensured that this was a reality. Drs. Geeta Budan Singh and Dr. Duvraj Sukraj of Artemis Medical, right here in Sangre Grande. Dr. Nadira Rambukas and her TT NGO, changing the way we view menstruation. Mrs. Yvonne Lewis, president of the Chest and Heart Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and her experience as a past district health educator in the ERHA.
Mrs. Anna C. Frederick, the drama and interact students. Our sponsors, Massey Distribution, Aventa, Bryden Pie Pharmaceuticals, Extra Foods, Dasani, Golden Care Medical Services, and E-Entry Orthopedics, for without their help today wouldn't have been a reality. The principal, staff, and students of SWAHA Hindu College. A special thanks to the Science Department, Ms. Giselle Maharaj, Ms. Farisha Mohammed, Mr. Satyanand Maharaj, Mr. Amarnath Maharaj, and a special thanks to Mr. Mahindra with the setup today. Mrs. Sunita Ramnarayan Mohammed, the team of TNT Healthcare Connect for being the first school of their M4 Wellness project. Thank you all. Thank you to all of you. We do hope we continue working together. Before we leave, all students please stand for the prayer before lunch.